in my drafts folder for some reason, Bridget. I'm sorry. I have no idea
Thank you.
how that happened.
Thanks, because I didn't get it. Okay, fine.
But and so I apologize.
No problem, not a problem. I haven't written. Right. Good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Oh, okay. Good evening. We're going to open up the meeting at 6:04. We'll do roll call. First, I am President Bridget Pryor, trustee.
Vice President Jerry Gauze.
And the finance, Paige Barnum.
Trustee Paige Allen.
Trustee Mary Rush.
Trustee Jennifer Marlowe.
Executive Director.
Executive Director Andrea Nicolai.
Thank you.
Counsel Mackenzie Clark. Assistant Director Melanie Metzger.
Sean Smith, Board Treasurer. Adam Stubb, Director of Finance.
We all received the news that Darnell Holmes passed away, sadly today, Friday due to a heart attack. But so I thought it was appropriate for Andrea to give us the highlights of his dedication and commitment to the library for the 15 years that he served here. Also, we'll also have a brief moment of silence in his honor.
Thank you. We were devastated and very surprised to hear of Darnell's passing. Darnell Holmes served first in the facilities department for APL and then became a community engagement clerk when we established that program. And Darnell is really well known in APL and in the community. He was the type of person who fits exactly what exceeds expectations for a community engagement clerk. He really has that ability to close the gap between him and anybody else he meets. And he was just a really big presence. He will be terribly missed. And, patrons are still learning the news, and staff have heavy hearts this week because he was just so well liked and so appreciated by so many. We are aware that Darnell is from New Jersey, and he will be that there will be services in New Jersey, but there may also be a local celebration of life, and we'll be sure to keep the board informed about that. We'll really miss Darnell.
Also said that he was an engagement clerk. He started as in facilities.
That's right.
And then he went to a community engagement clerk. And he will be sorely missed. So, yes, let's just take a moment to reflect. Thank you. First on the agenda is the consent minutes. Sorry. Oh, I forget about the public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay. Let the minutes reflect that trustee Manette Robinson just entered. Thank you. All right, the consent minutes. And also, if you take a moment to look at the whole consent agenda with the check registry as well. And the capital fund registry. Are there any questions in regards to the consent agenda? Check registry. Operating, yes.
I did have a question regarding the programming, check number 16890. It's midway down, page 2. What's PBC Guru?
It's a great question. I don't know what program this relates to, but I can get back to you.
I can tell you, it's actually, it stands for Professional Manage Book Club Guru. It's an annual subscription that we paid for. It's not a vendor we've used before, but you can find them easily online. I don't have too many details about what the actual subscription is going to be used for, but that's what it is, the Professional Book Club Guru.
So you're saying you don't know why we have it, or is this the first time we're using this?
Yeah, it is the first time we're paying them. I don't have the details of the nature of the subscription. That would be the purview of our programming head.
I think Melanie can offer a little more detail on this as well.
It is a subscription-based program that's going to allow us to do author visits virtually. It's a consortium that has authors kind of sign up, and we can book the authors as needed throughout the year. So we heard from a lot of individuals that they wanted author visits. And generally, a single author visit in person can be $5,000, which is just out of our price range. But this allows us to have multiple virtual visits throughout the year of authors.
So when you say a virtual visit, is it just for one specific library? Is the author going to be is this over Zoom or something like that? And they're going to be.
Yes, so the author is at their home, sitting and doing a visit, and they would be like broadcast here, and people can interact with the author via like webinars or whatnot. So they will have audio where they can ask the author questions, talk about the book, have conversations and such like that.
With the programming, who determines the rate for programming? Is it the program coordinator, or is it the actual program you're booking?
When you say rate, are you referring to?
Contract rate, whatever the program is costing. There's a $75, for example, to Jocelyn, right? Who determines the rate for the program and that the services that they provide? Is it the person who's providing the service, or is it the programming coordinator who has a set rate for what the libraries want to pay out?
It's usually a negotiation, and it varies based on the author, based on the program, based on the skills that the person is bringing. There are a number of factors, but in this case, it was a platform and a subscription. Thank you, Adam, for jogging my memory about this particular investment. So yeah, as Melanie said, it opens up our array of authors that we can have virtually at the library at any branch, and allows us to bring that author virtually to the library. So it's we don't have to pay any more than what we've already paid for this platform fee. And I can get the number of authors that are on the list. I could get the list of authors for the board. Interested.
And it's gonna be offered throughout the branches.
Yeah, we're looking at how we can schedule them in and.
Any other questions in regards to the consent agenda? Someone like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
I second.
Okay, finance memo? Sean? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, carried. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Sean?
Hello. The reports this month cover July 2024, which was 8% of the way through our 2025 fiscal year. Support and revenues were in line with the approved budget for the first month of the fiscal year, while expenditures overall were slightly above the approved budget.
Okay, just a couple of quick notes. So National Grid update for July. The bills totaled just under $18,000 compared to almost $20,000 in July of 2023. And also just a quick note, the payroll costs shown in the reports this month, which encompass the full-time salaries, part-time salaries, and the payroll tax and processing fee lines, are higher than a typical month because 3 payrolls were processed in the month of July. If anyone has any questions on any of the reports in this section, please feel free to ask.
Just have a comment that the National Grid are the LED program that we instituted or is just a gift that keeps on giving. Like each report is more savings, so that's great news. Any questions in regards to the finance memo? All right, treasurer's report.
The finance memo incorporates all of the
Right.
3 reports. Yeah.
Any questions in regards to the statistics that we have in front of us? Oh, the treasurer's report? Okay. Capital fund? Any questions in regards to capital fund? Cash summary? Anyone have any questions? Okay. Trustees reporting out. I would like to start by saying that I thought it was very honorable. We also lost Dr. Alice Green during the month, during this, I think August, the end of August. So it was nice to see the library honor her with a picture by the reference desk. So that was very nice. Because she's written several books and I know she came to lend her services here by doing some of those readings. So that was very nice.
She was a really strong supporter of the library, and we featured her books in all of the branches that had her books on the shelves. Of course, they went out quickly, but yeah, she was a major presence here.
Mhm. Any other trustees reporting out?
I can go.
Yes.
Hello. So first and foremost, finished my summer reading, so I get to wear this cool shirt to the meeting tonight. Very proud of it. Took a lot of pages and I got there. Gets a little close towards the end, so grateful for that. I attended on the 15th of August in this room, the Capital Region Transportation Council's Vision Zero meeting. So it's kind of preliminary for that, but they're definitely getting public feedback. And I think that there's probably still ways online that if anybody has ideas on how we can get to Vision Zero, meaning no incidents of injuries or deaths for pedestrians or cyclists. That's the goal. And how we shape our critical infrastructure to support that. I purchased my ticket for Literary Legends for the Friends and Foundation of the Albany Public Library Gala. That is on October 19th. Very much looking forward to that. And just looking ahead, I'm looking forward to attending the Banned Books event here on the 24th and Banned Books Week in general. It's always a good time. And there's also a program for banned books at the Women's Club of Albany, which I might check out. That's on the 28th. So not library, but Banned Books Week is good. Some more in the community.
Thank you, Trustee Roche. Trustee Barnum.
All right, I've got a couple interactions. The first one I'll report out was a walking history tour, Tales of the City of Albany, Albany's Literary Legacy, and that was led by Maeve Johnson, who's affiliated with Discover Albany. So I know they filled up all the registration spots and that there's still more demand for history walking tours. So it was nice to know that there's a lot of interest for these type of offerings. It was kicked off here at the Washington Avenue branch. And so it was nice to learn, you know, about the city's relationship with both older authors such as Bram Stoker, who you may know from Dracula, but also more contemporary authors and playwrights that are Albany born, such as Charlene Woodard, who's from this community. So that was a nice event. And then I'll also acknowledge a program I attended at the Pine Hills branch, To Reuse or Not to Reuse, and it was about women's health products, and that was sponsored in part by Planned Parenthood. And so that was a good opportunity to touch on several issues that our strategic plan speaks to in that sort of program. So.
Very nice. Trustee Allen.
Yeah, so I also got the t-shirt. I'm wearing it, but I'm chilly, so it is under my long sleeve shirt. And I went to the Bach branch on the 15th of August for the collaboration with Cherry Hill. And there was a delightful speaker from Cherry Hill who talked about the murder that took place there. And it was honestly very fun, and it was packed, and everyone there was so engaged and on the edge of their seats, and the presenter was really great. So if we can get that guy back for other things, delightful. And then they are having kind of like they're kind of doing a Halloween thing for October. They'll be doing like murder tours. But I just hope it gets folks to walk down there and, you know, see the house and be in the neighborhood. So yeah, that was a fun one.
Yes. Anyone else? Very nice. All right, we talked about the unaccompanied events. Personnel Committee. Did you all meet, Lynette? I know two of the people are not here. So, okay, we'll move on. Any other, upcoming committees? Actually, I have the sheets. If you haven't had an opportunity to fill out the survey on what committees you would like to serve, we'll be passing that around so you can fill those out prior to you leaving. So we can, the executive committee can meet to determine those assignments. So thank you for all that did return them. Thank you. All right, director's report.
All right. August saw the launch of our 5-question community survey on hours and programs. And I'm really pleased to say that we've seen an incredible return. And I know we're going to cover that later in this meeting when we get to the survey outreach effort update, but I'm excited about everything that we've gotten back and continue to get back in paper surveys and online surveys. So I just did want to give a shout out to our communications department because they've been honestly killing it when it comes to announcing and sharing good news like the Children's World Children's World Languages collections that launched last month, and of course the survey launch and our summer reading program. They did a great job promoting our summer reading program with images of people wearing their t-shirts proudly or excited to complete an aspect of the summer reading program. So one of the questions I really would love to answer is how APL compares to other nonprofits and government agencies of our size when it comes to growing social media subscribers and likers or whatever. I don't know how you call that metric, but we're seeing a 10 or 15% increase month over month in both Facebook and Instagram followers. So that seems good to me, but I really want to see how we stack up compared to other nonprofits. Going through the report, I did want to call out a few more highlights. We are, again, as a reminder, partnering with the Prisoners Legal Services nonprofit to put up an art show in this room. And opening night is going to be Thursday, October 17th. And I would love to invite you all to attend. It's going to be free. Prisoners Legal Services folks are running it. It'll be catered, open to the public. And it'll be the launch of this show of work by incarcerated people throughout New York State. I've seen some of the work myself, and it is truly impressive.
How long is the exhibit going to be here?
It's going to be here from October through the end of the year. So plenty of time to come by, and we're going to be offering gallery hours to come and view it as well. Lee Alexander, who was the Friends and Foundation office manager, moved on from the Friends and Foundation. She accepted a full-time job at Bethlehem High School, and her last day was August 15th. So they're going to take a pause to assess their personnel needs before going ahead with any plans to hire someone new, whether it's a replacement or a different position for FFAPL. Under featured upcoming programs, I wanted to call out a band program, Women Freed Between the Lines, which we are putting on with NYCLU, and it's September 24th, usually a very well attended event where there are multiple people reading out from banned books. And actually related, I will be doing a reading at the Women's Club Banned Books fundraiser on September 28th, which was mentioned by Trustee Rush. I'll be reading from Being Jazz by Jazz Jennings, which is a book about a transgender girl. I also wanted to call out that we are hosting the League of Women Voters of Albany County. They're going to be providing voting information and registering people to vote on various dates in September and October. And you can find out more on our library calendar. Also under community engagement news, unfortunately, our part-time volunteer coordinator is in the job for 3 weeks and then accepted a state job that applied for months earlier and received news about. So they moved on to a full-time benefited state job, and we do not hold it against them. However, it was a bit crushing for our community engagement department. We barely trained them and off they went. But we have two, actually more than two candidates for this role. So it's just a matter of through the civil service hiring process and figuring out who we can bring on. So there's a bright spot there. We were able to table under programs and partnerships at Latin Fest, at Second Chance Back to School, at Westminster Presbyterian Back to School event organized by the Department of Rec. And we used all of those opportunities to try to get people to fill out surveys. We got a great return from who had filled out paper surveys at those events, as well as clicking the QR code and following through there. In addition, I guess I'll cover that as survey update. I keep wanting to talk about this, but I should stick with this report. Under branch services, our facilities and capital project related window tinting project at Arbor Hill is almost complete, but there are some hard to reach windows that are very high up that we need to address that we need the vendor to address in a different way. So it's just a little bit delayed, but we are close to the finish. And then under the how update, I wanted to call out the partnership with Albany County Parks and Rec. We hosted a Monday night pop dance club for children and teens, teaching the basic techniques of dance and self-confidence and self-expression. And so that's a rather new partnership. So I wanted to call that out. We also, and then a couple of trustees mentioned this at the last meeting, but we held a book tasting for our adult patrons at Pine Hills, and staff created book menus to give patrons various genres instead of genres. So that was really, we got a lot of positive feedback. It's a creative program. Highlight. Under Washington Avenue, we say that we launched a new book discussion for adults. It's called Novel Night. And the first book that was highlighted was The Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. One of our newer librarians started that club and is really excited about getting going. And also in September, actually the first day of the extended hours was today, we were able to expand our makerspace hours due to a grant from Vendor Foundation, which funding came to us through the Friends and Foundation. So that's really great news for our makerspace and the people who love it. Finally, a couple notes about resources. So the head of public safety interviews have begun. The first round is being conducted this week. There will be a second round as well. And we're excited about the candidates that we have. And so that process continues to go smoothly. Jack Rogan is coming to be on our interview panel as well, which is great. Our de-escalation trainings for staff. He's a great resource and industry expert to have on the panel. We're also offering a flu and COVID vaccination clinic for all staff on October 1st. And we're getting good signups for that. It's the highlights I wanted to share with you, but if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer.
You're not in that room.
Yeah,
They're on.
it'll
but
pick
they're-
you up. It'll pick you up.
So I,
You do still have to speak in.
I'm just not hearing it well.
Yeah, you just.
Trustee West, I thank you for all the information. I just was curious as to the panel for head of security. Are you adding any of the, can you tell us who what other positions are represented on the panel?
Yes, certainly. So I'm on the panel, Melanie's on the panel, Jack Rogan, as I said, and then Deanna DiCarlo, who is our head of branch services. So she's the supervisor of all of our branch managers, but there's going to be a second round. And on that second round panel, we'll have a community engagement clerk. And that was, yes, I remember your good suggestion. And also branch manager. We don't know exactly which branch manager. So that'll be the second round panel. We're also going to bring the finalist or finalists around to all the branches so that they know the lay of the land.
Thank you.
Just have the minutes reflect that Trustee West has joined us. Thank you. Also, I'd just like to make a comment with how hopefully the instructor is not the one that was instructing the young lady in Australia at the Olympics. doing the dance. So hopefully we didn't get that guy or girl because that was just, I don't know. But hopefully that won't be an issue. So that's good.
Can I mention one more update that I forgot, but I wanted to say? Melanie and our HR generalist and myself are attending the Chamber of Commerce's DEI Summit, which is happening on Thursday morning. And that's part of our efforts to better understand how to support staff, how to support our DEIA efforts within the library. And we're grateful to the chamber for offering that summit. And this one is about neurodivergence in particular. That's one of the focuses of this DEI summit.
So I have a question regarding the conference that normally happens in November. Has any information on New York Library?
Yeah, the New York Library Association conference is taking place. I'll get the dates, but it's in Syracuse this year. So it's a little bit more of a haul.
And normally was in Saratoga.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much easier when it's in Saratoga, but
As it was very informative, and also just bring it to trustees' attention that if they're able to attend, obviously if it was close in Saratoga, but 1 year I attended when it was COVID and it was during they had a Zoom, which was very interesting, and they pulled it off, so it was very nice, very informative information. All right, thank you. Monthly statistics.
okay. Well, highlights from August, Arbor Hill West Hill saw the highest room use total of any month this year, which was primarily driven by study room use. And the study rooms are the two smaller rooms that you can use, that you can book. And I really have to credit our library market room management system. It's so much easier to use, and you can actually see the room that you're going to be booking and what's in it. And I think that's just been incredibly helpful for people who are interested in using library spaces. So that's one highlight. And another highlight also comes from Arbor Hill West Hill. We exceeded 1,000 desktop computer uses this month, or rather in August, which was the most use in a single month since before 2020. So those are some highlights. I think there were a couple more. Here we go. Howe and North Albany saw their highest year-to-date monthly door counts. Delaware program attendance is higher than team numbers. So that's with the last August before our pandemic. And outreach programming and engagement had recorded attendance high not seen since really 2018. And of course, that's because we have outreach and dedicated programming partnerships, personnel, and more of them than before. So those are some statistics highlights for you.
Thank you. And some of the safety incidents, where were they concentrated at within the branches?
Washington Avenue.
All of them at 55 at
No,
Washington?
not all 55. No, it's
But the
usually
majority.
a spread between Washington, Delaware, and Arbor Hill West Hill. But we can get more specific numbers for you. There were some repeat offenders who came back to Washington Avenue and or Arbor Hill. Sometimes we have an issue where the patron who creates a problem at one branch just kind of pops over to another branch where they don't think we're going to know what happened, or we do our best to share information without violating patron privacy that will help us put together what's happening where, but it can't be a perfect system because of our ethics and principles. That said, yeah, we can get you more of a breakdown.
Is that are the three that lost the library privileges, are they repeat offenders, or are they?
I would have to look at each of those, but my sense of those is that they addressed really bad behavior, whether it was threats on staff or physical violence. But I can get the details for you about that.
I can speak to the percentage. If you do look at the monthly statistics report with the breakdowns with pie charts, we do have a breakdown, and they don't change too much month to month. They're within a, little margin of error, but Washington Avenue usually sees about 45% of the incidents that happen across the system.
And some of them are of a non-violent nature. I mean, as we've said before, a lot of people turn to us in their sort of most needy moment, whether it's, please call EMS for me, or please call the 911 for me. Not all of these incidents are necessarily for harassment or physical violence happening in the library. So I'm not saying that the other kinds of incidents aren't, it don't have a negative impact on our spaces or our staff, but I just want to make that note.
Yeah, I was visiting, I can't remember when, but the name of the gentleman escapes me, but I thought he just de-escalated a situation very well. One of the patrons was actually sitting on the ground or on the floor, and he just kindly, told him that we do have seats that he can utilize, and that he didn't say that's not appropriate, but he, steered him to the right way. So I thought that was nice. It didn't go left. So how he approached him, it's all about the tone and how you approach people with dignity and respect. And I thought he did an excellent job.
Thank you. I can speak to at least one of the loss of library privileges, which was it addressed basically teenagers who decided to go to a staff only area in the stairwell and have a very explicit romantic moment. So that was that's obviously not acceptable. We had to address that, but and again, there are variations between how long we ask people to stay away or to lose their library privileges. So in this case, I mean, that was 3 months. So just kind of just don't do that again.
Thank you.
I can't imagine a less romantic place than the top of our 3rd floor stairwell in this building, but who am I to know?
Teenagers.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Okay, any unfinished business? None. New business. Schedule service. These are the dates when the libraries are open following the holiday and closed in reference to the holiday. So there's the library schedule.
Yeah, and these dates are laid out contractually. So unless there are questions, we'd be looking for a vote of approval on these dates, which we double checked, triple checked. There was a slight, just a very minor correction. October 2nd was initially listed as a Tuesday. It is actually Thursday. Not really a huge change, but I just wanted to note that the initial list that we posted cited that as a Tuesday, and we fixed it.
I just have a question because I just need clarification because it's kind of confusing that it's open on the following holidays with regular hours. So Martin Luther King Day, you're not closed, you're open.
Correct.
Okay.
Trustee West, so this is I think that this kind of goes to your question. I think that the intent is for the library to be open when school is closed, but typically not when a day that you would think that families are doing something together. Is that correct?
It's accurate that the library, that the idea behind being open on these 4 dates is related to both an opportunity to create or present a program that relates to the holiday at the library and to give families and kids somewhere to go when a lot of other places are closed. Does that help?
Yes.
Do we have the comparison of the two?
No, I don't know what it was last year. I believe that they were open last year. I mean, the dates, those 4 dates.
Yes, yes. This has been the case for, well, as long as I've been here. I'm not sure. I think it also dates back to the previous contract,
Mhm.
at least these 4.
Right. Okay. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Any other questions in regards to schedule of service?
Purchase, right?
Yes.
Did you check to see the other things that are going on during that time? I mean, typically there are events that happen. I know on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I definitely know there's usually like a parade and that sort of thing that happens on
Yeah,
the
there's
other
usually a
days. I'm
walk.
not sure. The other days, I'm not too sure about what exactly happens on those days, but
You mean
I
what
know
happens?
there's several locations. Okay, there's several locations that typically have events that.
Yes. Yeah, so you're wondering about library events on each of those holidays?
Other events in the city on each of those holidays. So
Oh,
to
okay.
have, if the purpose is to have these dates open for families and things to come to, if there's already things in the city going on, there's already programming in the city for these days. I was wondering if you checked the other programming in the city in reference to these days in particular.
I see. We always try to cross promote any citywide events that are happening in connection with any of these holidays. So, for example, with the Martin Luther King walk that happens from the State Library to the statue, we always publicize that. Sometimes we participate in that. And yeah, we would be happy to promote whatever other events are happening in the city.
And there'll be regular hours, the same hours that you normally,
hours,
regular
yep.
hours.
That's right.
And did you, maybe I missed it, what was the reason for picking these particular days? These particular holidays?
Honestly, I would have to go back to notes from the previous contract negotiation because I wasn't part of it, but my understanding is that these dates, these holidays it was a compromise. So we wanted to be open on some holidays and we had to be closed on others for
Right, I see that, combine holidays together, like Memorial Day, it's a weekend, Saturday to Monday, where you normally be open, and then August 3rd to Labor Day, the Saturday and the Monday, and then Thanksgiving and as well as, Christmas.
yeah. So these again were all negotiated as part of the most recent.
Any other?
Just for clarification, because now I just got for me, a little bit confusing. So are you saying you picked these days that were the library was previously closed, but these holidays that you picked for them to now be open were days that were up for negotiation, or you're just saying they don't fall in line with the contract, so they're fair game?
No, I'm saying that these 4 holidays that we are open are consistent with the holidays that we were open during the last contract. So
Okay.
this is everything stayed the same. The things that changed, we added Juneteenth, and there was a negotiation around the day after Thanksgiving.
Andrea?
Yes,
Can I speak to?
yes.
So the 4 dates that we are open, as well as the other 12 days that we are closed, have been in the contract since I have been here, with the exception of Juneteenth, because that was just accepted in, I think, 2019 or 2020. They're all contractual. Usually the only thing that we're asking for, this has to be approved every year by the board, but anytime that anything additionally to these are because something fell on a Saturday or Sunday, so we've included like the Friday or the Monday afterwards. So these are actually, because none of the holidays fall on a weekend this year, these are the basic ones that are guaranteed in our contract that have been negotiated already.
Any further discussion? Someone like to make a motion to accept the 2025 schedule of service?
I make a motion, sorry, trustee Robinson, I make a motion that we accept the schedule of service for 2025.
Trustee West, I second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? It carries. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely why I asked that question. Asked that question. Yeah.
All right, now it's time, survey time.
All right.
Community service status report.
Okay, so I attached a memo for you, and I'm just going to go through that memo and then add some other details that have come to light since we put this together. So first of all, the community survey duration, the period of it is August 20th to September 4th. So like I said, so far we've seen a really strong response. The topics of the survey, which I shared with all of you at the last meeting, are hours, library service hours and programs. And we're also interested in how people find out about library programs and which branches they favor. We provided an online version and a paper version. And in terms of distribution and promotion, we've used a lot of different methods to get the survey out. So first of all, we have our database of constant contact email addresses that we call from library card registrations. So we updated that database prior to distributing the survey that way. So we have 26,000 contacts in that database, and sharing survey out to those folks through our emails on a fairly frequent basis. Well, you all, so you know. We also emailed 60 elected officials, community organization leaders, and neighborhood association presidents, asking them to share the survey with their constituents. Social media, of course, has been distributed. So X, Instagram, Facebook, various posts at various times. Reminders in our weekly email. And I just mentioned that, so that's connected with the first point. Slides on our display televisions in the branches. So the QR codes were up on the LED screens for people to snap while they were waiting to check out books or lingering in the library. So people have been snapping the QR codes that way. Flyers at each of our branches and out in the community. So our staff have been taking flyers with QR codes and the paper surveys to our outreach events and to select branch programs. It's been on our website. So every single page on our website, no matter where you land, you're going to get that alert at the top of the page inviting you to fill out the survey. And I think it's helped a lot that it is such a short survey and it takes like less than 2 minutes to complete. So we've been calling it our 2-minute survey when we promote it. And I do want to give a shout out to staff who've been promoting the survey in the branches, especially some of our CECs. I want to call out our Arbor Hill West Hill CECs who have basically returned the most filled in paper forms of any of the branches. So shout out to them. In terms of statistics from the first 2 weeks, the total number of respondents during those first 2 weeks is 1,213. Of course, that number has since grown. I don't have the exact one right now because our public information officer was out for the first couple of days of this week. Anyway, we're seeing really strong online response over paper responses, which is to be expected. It's very easy to fill out online. The number of community outreach events where we promoted the survey is 9, although it will grow because this weekend I'll be at Arbor Hill Elementary with our 2 outreach librarians, Allison. Arbor Hill Elementary is having like a safety day and a bunch of organizations. The library will be there. So using that opportunity to make a final push, invite people to fill out the survey in whatever way they prefer. And what can I tell you? As of September 4th, we more than doubled the response rate as compared with our last community survey, which albeit was a much longer survey that happened right before I started. So it happened in like July of 2022 as part of the strategic planning process, but had a total of 501 respondents for that survey. Again, the largest number has come to us through the online survey. The day that the city school district helped us out by blasting it out to their whole list, we saw 70 responses just on that day, which was our 1-day high. Excuse me, our third highest 1-day high. Most days we've seen an average of 10 and 20 online responses. And I thought this was like just a fun statistic to have. Surveys take about 1 minute, seconds, since that's a survey tool to measure how long people take to do it. So that's we should be calling it our 1 minute and 33 second survey. Less than 10 people skipped the online survey questions about the most visited branch in preferred hours. And most skipped online survey questions for about teen programs. A question about library hours programs. We invited suggestions. I'm not sure what that says, other than maybe there are more people coming to using library for children's programs and adult programs than teen programs at this moment. But that we'll have to compare. We're going to be doing a lot of comparisons between the survey data we receive and the actual statistics we have about program attendance, about popular times to visit the library and all that good stuff. So we're really looking forward to compiling that survey data after it closes on September 13th. And we'll bring you a full report in October.
Thank you. I just have one question. I know there's mechanisms for when you do online, so there's no duplications.
Yeah.
How do you combat that with the paper survey? Because what stops someone from going to all the branches and filling out?
There is
different
nothing
survey?
stopping someone from doing that, but I think it would be. I like to think it would be kind of obvious if we got a whole stack that was in the same handwriting. We'd have to do some studying on that, but there is no mechanism to prevent that kind of fraud. We're hoping that people don't see this as an opportunity to abuse what is just a community survey in good faith.
And is there an age limit on who can complete the survey?
There isn't. So
Any other questions in regard to the survey? Thank you for all their hard work.
sure. And if you wouldn't mind sharing the survey out one last time with your circles, that would be fantastic. I think I shared the social media graphics for Facebook and Instagram. I'll share them again. But I know you all have a lot of connections in town, and we appreciate your help on that.
Very encouraging. A lot of people, even though it's just 1 minute and 33 seconds. Right. Thank you. Okay, community, team building, trustee Allen wanted to discuss team building. She had some great ideas.
Yeah, I did. It came up a little bit when we went through the sort of open-ended comments and Director Nicolai's survey. A few people had mentioned that. And also me being new, I haven't had an opportunity to take a lot of these Upper Hudson Library System trainings, except the core training. And it looks like, based on their website, that if we could get like a group that we could take it together, various classes. So I'm wondering if like there's interest from anyone else who would want to take. I would do anything, so I don't know anything, so I would take any course. So if maybe there's like an easy way for us to like show our interest in that, or like pick a preference of courses that we would be interested in getting from Upper Hudson. And then I also just threw out, because this is like a big thing that I do, is just the regional food bank is like a really slam dunk team build, in my opinion. There's always groups there. It's my aunt and me who are there every week, and we're like, these groups are so annoying, but they do seem like they're having a lot of fun together. So if folks were interested in that, I could definitely get more information. The shifts are an hour and a half, and they're all day, all weekdays if folks were interested in that. But I'm happy to like be the point on this for you, President Pryor, if that's the way this works, even because I, again, am new and I don't really know anything. So, yeah, just wanted to throw it out to the group, and see if there were any thoughts on doing something like that.
And thank you, Trustee Allen, for your suggestions. And yes, definitely, I welcome that invitation for you being the point. Maybe you can, as you said, there are blocks of slots, and find out the dates, and we can throw them out there. And if any trustee is interested, and maybe a little hard during the day because most trustees are working. So
Yeah,
if you can,
I usually do the 6 to 8:30,
okay.
or I'm sorry, 6:30 to 8. It's an
Okay.
hour and a half. Yeah.
All right, so we can definitely throw that in as, and if any trustees would like to, join you in those dates, that'll be fine, wonderful. And also, we'll look into, UHLS to see, what's being available, and if, some, trustees can make it on those days, maybe half, 3 and 3 or something like that. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Any public comment? Okay. We're not going into executive session. Yeah. No, we don't need, because I don't have the stuff. I don't have the information. Unfortunately.
Okay. And we go
And then
to
say what
talk
you need to
about
say.
how to,
Right.
right, to get the
To go from-
information, so.
So,
We would ask you to.
right. Yes, yep. So, we'd like to go ahead.
I
and
move.
Make a motion. You move to.
This is Trustee West. I move that we go into executive session for the purposes of discussing personnel matters.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So, trustee. Go into session. Out. I did it before. Yeah, that was another one. We're missing.
What? September
For
6th?
those watching online, we're going into executive session. We're ending the live stream now.